Hello there, and welcome back to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. I'm your host, Karen Yankovich, and today's episode is for every woman who has ever looked at her LinkedIn profile and thought, what am I doing here? Like, is this profile even doing anything for me? Here's the truth. Your LinkedIn profile can be one of your most powerful revenue generating tools if it's positioned correctly. And I don't say this lightly. I've had many conversations with people about LinkedIn, as you can imagine, but just recently I've had a few, and the conversations I'm having are around, I don't even really think about LinkedIn as social media. Hallelujah. Hallelujah that we're finally starting to realize that, right? Because it is not social media. Your LinkedIn profile is not just a resume. It is not just a digital business card. And what we're going to talk about in this episode is how to turn one profile. You need to have one profile. It is your personal brand. There's not one for your coaching business and one for your accounting business. One profile for you. We're going to talk about how to turn that one profile into 100K in revenue. I'm going to show you exactly how that's possible. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to break down what a high converting profile actually looks like, what women are wildly underestimating, why women are wildly underestimating its power, and how this one piece of online real estate can unlock your dream clients, can get you media coverage, can help get you speaking gigs, whatever it is that's going to elevate your brand and elevate your authority, elevate your bank account. We can do that with your LinkedIn profile because listen, if people can't find you, they can't hire you. And they're going to hire who does come up, right? I am so over watching brilliant women lose out because they're the best kept secret in their industry. It is your time. And we're going to talk today about how we can start making LinkedIn work for you. And, I have a couple stories about this because as you can imagine, right? I think back to my client, Lauren. I'd been connected with Lauren for a while. And for whatever reason, she didn't feel it was the time to step in and get the work done. And she's a hard worker, believe me. She is very successful, a very hard worker. But she called me one day and she said, you know what? I applied for this opportunity. I had a conversation with them. I didn't get the opportunity, but here's the thing. They looked at my LinkedIn profile. And as soon as I saw that, I knew why I lost the opportunity. I lost the opportunity because I didn't take the time to create the profile. That's it. I'm doing this now. Here's my credit card, right? Like it happens time and time and time again. And here's the thing too, like if people are going into LinkedIn and let's say you're a speaker, right? And that's how you generate business. And they type in money mindset speaker and you don't have the right keywords in your profile, your competitors are coming up. They're getting the business. Right? They're getting the business. And I remember a time, a couple moves ago, I've moved a few times in the last couple of years. A couple moves ago, I moved to the Toms River, New Jersey area, and I needed a dentist. So what did I do? I'm an online marketer, right? I went online. I Googled, well, dentists, you guys need to get a better online presence. I couldn't find any dentists I kind of looking, I didn't find anything. I found this one dentist. He wasn't that far from me, and he had this great online presence. Said all the right things in on his website to me. The worst dentist I've ever been to in my entire life. But I went to him because he attracted me with his online presence, right? I went in, I searched for a dentist. I looked at reviews. I looked at his website. I looked at things and I didn't know there was such a thing as a really terrible dentist, but trust me, there is, right? And it was really eye-opening to me because I realized, I've probably talked about it on the show. If you're a longtime listener, you've probably heard that story before because this is stuff we have control over, right? I talk a lot about how I think, this episode's going live. It's, Q2 2025. The world is crazy, right? So where can we take control of our destiny? Your LinkedIn profile is where you can take control of your destiny. And listen, we've got enrollment open now for She's Linked Up, so we can help you with this. And one of the things we do in She's Linked Up is write your LinkedIn profile for you. Okay, so we've completely redesigned the program. If you go to sheslinkedup.com, you'll see the details. The content is the same. We've redesigned how we're delivering it because it's the sign of the times. Like I want to be able to deliver what you're looking for. But one thing that doesn't change is that in our flagship She's Linked Up program, we write your profile for you because I know how important it is. Okay, I know how important it is. So you're going to be able to take a stab at it after this episode. Or check out sheslinkedup.com if you want some help. So let's talk a little bit about why your profile is not just a profile, right? So many people think of LinkedIn as a resume, but in 2025, it is your virtual brand. It is your virtual storefront. It is where people check you out. And you need to check out. Your profile should work like your highest converting sales page. That's right, sales page. Your profile should be written like a sales page, not like a resume. And so many people are wasting that space, right? Every day I talk to decision makers, PR people, podcast hosts, buyers, everyone searching for their experts on LinkedIn, right? Everyone is doing this, right? If your profile isn't screaming, pick me, I'm the one for you, and here's why, and like writing a profile that tells me why you are peers with the most influential people in your industry, you're missing out, right? So let's end that today. Um, I can tell you there was a time that I had a client that came to me, and it was really interesting because it was I at the time we had a higher ticket. Our program was a much higher ticket program, and we've shifted that because that's what our people are asking for. That's what you're asking for, right? So it was a much higher price point program. I think at the time it was around $10,000, and we delivered a lot more one-on-one. Like there was a lot more one-on-one in that version of the program, which for a lot of reasons. It didn't need to be that way. Anyway, that's a story for another day, right? But at the time we were doing enrollment calls to enroll people in the program. So I had a calendar, I had my enrollment call calendar open, which is still open, by the way. You can still book a call with me if you want to know what it looks like to work with me. And that link to that is right on my LinkedIn profile, right in the featured section. But it was like a Friday afternoon or Friday morning, and I look on my calendar and somebody books a call for like 4 o'clock on a Friday. I was like, ugh. Okay. Like, and listen, I shouldn't say ugh, right? Because it's my business. And I love talking to you guys. I truly do. But I was like, oh, Friday, like end of the day on Friday. Like maybe I had a long week. I don't know. But I remember thinking like, oh my gosh. Well, she filled out the form, did all the things, right? And I get on the call and she tells me, I was on LinkedIn this morning and I was poking around LinkedIn and I saw your comment on somebody else's thread. So hear me here, okay? She didn't know who I was Friday morning, okay? Friday morning, she didn't know who I was. I had commented on somebody else's thread. Remember, I wasn't selling, I wasn't promoting, I wasn't marketing, right? I jumped into a conversation. But when I jump into a conversation, my headline shows up, right? It's easy to see who I am. She clicked on my profile, liked what she saw, was looking for some help with LinkedIn strategy, saw on my profile that there was a way to book a call. My calendar was open for that same day. She booked a call and enrolled in my program at 10K. Okay, that happened within a matter of hours. Now, she didn't do that because she listened to 300 episodes of my podcast. She didn't know who I was on Thursday, right? And I'm telling you this because this can happen for you too. Okay, she didn't know much about me at all. Now, listen, I'm sure she checked me out and I did my job of creating the credibility, all the podcast interviews I do and everything else. But she didn't get me from any of that. She simply saw my LinkedIn profile, saw what she wanted, saw what she was looking for, booked a call and enrolled in my program. This can happen to you. So let's talk about what a 100K LinkedIn profile looks like. Okay. Remember that I'm going to use $10,000 because that's the number we've been throwing around on this episode so far, right? If you tell me, oh my gosh, Karen, I can't come up with a 10K offer. By the way, in She's Linked Up, the very first thing we do, or one of the very first things we do, is we help you with your higher ticket offers, right? Because LinkedIn is not the place, I've said this a million times, it's not the place to sell a pen. It's the place to get a distributor that wants to buy 100,000 of your pens, right? So the first thing we need to do is, what's your 100,000 pens offer? So let's say it's a 10K offer, whatever that looks like. My favorite thing to do is have conversations with you about this. And even though we don't have as much one-on-one in the program, you get to talk to me often, right? So there's lots of opportunity to brainstorm with you on what your one-on-one offer is, you and I, right? So remember, if we're getting to 100K with this, you don't need $1,000 offers, right? Or $1 million offers, right? You need 10. You need 10 people. You want to make 100K a year. By the way, it's not enough money. I want you to make at least $250,000 a year. Keep that number in your brain as you're doing your marketing plans. All things we talk about in She's Linked Up, right? But we're looking at 10. We're talking about 100K from your LinkedIn profile. So we need 10K clients. Okay. So thinking about how this can be, right? If you do retainers, let's say you do retainers, right? Or you do speaking, right? Let's say you do speaking and you want to speak every month. Let's say you get $2,500 for your speaking engagements, right? Times 12 months, that's 30K with 30,000 into 100,000, right? Here's the thing that happens too. One client finds you, refers to more. Maybe you get a media feature. Maybe you get an inbound inquiry like I did on that Friday, right? Your profile is the trigger point for this, for that ripple effect of revenue. Okay. But you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. Okay. I think about Marusha Murphy, and she's actually been on this podcast. And Marusha and I worked together to support each other. She's an expert in community. We'll link to the show in the show notes that I talked to with Marusha at. And so she helped me and I helped her. So she joined our program, right, as part of what she did. And basically, I'm reading to you a message I got from her. I'm loving what I'm creating on LinkedIn. 2 weeks of posting, 2 weeks working with you, and I already have 5 perfect leads. 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Okay. Like in 2 weeks, she had 5 perfect leads because she was intentional about what she was posting. She was intentional about her profile, right? This can be the same for you. The beauty of LinkedIn. Listen, I love credibility. I teach credibility. That's why we talk about PR. But the beauty of LinkedIn is your credibility is there if people are searching for it. But you honestly almost don't need it. You get built-in credibility on LinkedIn with things like your testimonials, right? If you've got recommendations on LinkedIn, built-in credibility. So think a little bit about your positioning, okay? Don't say I am a coach or a consultant. I mean, use those words because those words are important on LinkedIn. But the positioning is that you are the go-to expert. You need to be positioning yourself as if your peers with the most influential people in your industry. Okay. Your headline is your first impression. We want it to be magnetic. Remember, we're talking about inbound inquiries here on LinkedIn, right? So that's magnetic. I can't even tell you how the joy that I get when I start getting messages from my clients about when I start to see their magnet strengthening. They're starting to get those inbound inquiries, right? Oh my gosh, I love, 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 love that. So in your headline, keep in mind, nobody really cares about you. They care about what you can do for them. So you want to be positioning yourself as the go-to expert, but in your headline, tell people who you are, who you help, and how you help them, because that's going to let them understand why you are the person for them. The example that I've used a million times on this podcast, but it's one that works, so I'm going to use it again, is you can be a financial planner, and maybe you're a great financial planner, but you and a million other people on LinkedIn are great financial planners. But if you say on your LinkedIn profile that I'm a financial planner and my expertise is helping women over 50 create enough wealth to retire at 60, now you're speaking my language, right? Now I'm like, ooh, you're telling me why you. Now keep in mind, it doesn't mean you can only work with women over 50, right? But you're creating a magnet for that type of client if that's the kind of client you want. And it's going to attract those people, and it still gives you the opportunity to work with other people. I mean, this podcast you're listening to is called Good Girls Get Rich. My program is called She's Linked Up. And I'm going to say about half of my private consulting clients are men. It's not means I can't help men, just because I just like to focus on women because I feel like they don't feel included in this work, right? So I want to include more women, and that's why I focus on women, right? So you want to do that in your headline. Then you get to your about section, right? And remember, the about section used to be your summary. And one day, I remember I was actually at a client's office. I know exactly where I was sitting. Crazy how that stuff happens, right? I know exactly where I was sitting. And I looked at it and it was like, all of a sudden it was called about and not summary. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because a summary is boring, right? A summary is like, give me the cliff notes. About section is emotional, right? You're telling people a little bit about who you are and why you love this work, and you're telling me about you. If you know anything about online marketing, if you've done any research on website design and things like that, often the about page on websites is the most visited website because people want to know about the people that they're working with. So tell people about you in your about section, right? If you've got media and speaking and features, show us that stuff, right? But do it in a way where you're telling us a story. Like, I can say something like, oh my gosh, I remember the first time I was at a Sirius XM radio station studio. I felt so cool to have those headphones on and to be sitting across from the host with all the Sirius XM branding around me. Like, you can tell stories about that in your about section, right? And I can say, I love when I get those stories from my clients. I love when my clients tell me about their first time that they were like, wow, maybe I am a big deal, right? Like, this is how it works, right? So you want to include all of that in your about section. You want to have an about section that tells stories that make people want to read it. Nobody wants to read, Karen Yankovich was known for, like, please, if you do nothing else, keep your about section in first person, because remember, this is a one-to-one intimate connection between you and me on LinkedIn, right? This is not this standoffish second, or third person type thing. It is something personal. And I want to feel like you're talking to me directly. Right. So when you're creating your about section, do that. Use all 2,600 characters in your about section, because remember, we're talking about keywords here, right? Remember I said, if somebody was looking for a money mindset speaker, they're going to look for that on LinkedIn. And if you don't, so you want to be talking about money mindset a lot, and your about section is a great place to do that. You don't want to stuff those keywords, but you certainly could use those terms over and over again. Think about what people are searching for on LinkedIn, which is a little bit different than on a search engine, right? We're not looking for vitamin D on LinkedIn, but we might be looking for a vitamin D distributor, right? So think about how it might be a little different on LinkedIn, and use those words consistently in your profile. I talked a little bit about the power of your testimonials and recommendations. Again, going back to your website, right? If you're doing online marketing, or you're creating a personal brand, or you're looking to get a consulting gig for $25,000, chances are you have referrals, right? People are going to ask you for references, right? You've handpicked them. It's okay. We all handpick them. You're expected to handpick them, right? But on LinkedIn, if you go to my LinkedIn, if somebody asks me for references, I say, absolutely, I'm going to send you I'll send you my references this afternoon. But in the meantime, going over to my LinkedIn profile, there's more than 100 recommendations there. Feel free to reach out to any of those people and ask any question you want. That's pretty powerful stuff, right? This all happens on your LinkedIn profile. Those endorsements, those things that people feel like are annoying, like when you get endorsed for something you don't even do by people you don't really even know. Guess what? They're powerful. They tell LinkedIn that lots of people have trust in you for this keyword, right? Endorsements are keywords. It helps bring more people to your profile. And it tells people looking to hire you that 100 people, 1 million people trust you in this topic, right? Really, really important stuff. The best part about this, listen, there's so much more we can talk about, and I don't want this to be too long. I really am committed to keeping these little bonus episodes somewhat shorter. There's so many ways that you can skin this cat, but know that I feel free, by the way, to connect with me on LinkedIn and look at my profile and model it, right? Don't copy it, but model it, because you can look at it and how, if it's going to help you take action on your profile, I'm all down for that. I am here to help you in any way that I can, because I am so tired of smart, accomplished, successful women showing up small online. You know what? If we go back to when I started this, the reasons I started this podcast, I was taught to wait, to be modest, to not self-promote, right? I had to unlearn all that stuff. Maybe you can relate to that, right? We're fighting visibility blocks and imposter syndrome. I don't know why this is. I really don't know why this is. But to this day, I find that women just don't get the reach that men get. I don't know why that is. I don't know why, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just gonna overcome it, right? In my world, and hopefully you do in your world, right? We want to shift the narrative here. You don't have to post on LinkedIn every day. You don't have to post 3 times a day. You don't have to go viral. You just need to show up like the leader that you already are, and your profile is the easiest place to start this. Does that make sense? So there you have it. One profile, one powerful, powerful, powerful positioning shift. One decision to finally stop playing small, and suddenly you're not the best kept secret. You're the one people are looking for. You're the one people find when they're looking for what it is that you want to be found for. So if today's episode lit something up in you and you're ready to reposition your LinkedIn presence, attract premium opportunities, potential media opportunities, speaking opportunities, things that position you for more impact, more influence, and ultimately more income, then I'm here to help you grow your business without chasing leads. I am all about it being magnetic. I'm not going to ever teach you to spam your LinkedIn network, ever, ever, ever. This is a very micro-targeted approach we take, which means it brings a lot of ease into the process. If you're ready for this, I want to personally invite you to join us inside She's Linked Up. The doors are officially open. We spent a little time redesigning the program. The content is the same. The content is good. If you've taken She's Linked Up before and you're listening to this, go back through the content. And by the way, one of the things we've changed in She's Linked Up is we have opened up all of our calls to our entire alumni community as well. So if you're an alumni of She's Linked Up, you are invited to our calls. I was looking at how did I want to move forward with this? And so many people are moving to more of a more community aspect and billing you, $5 or $5 million a month to stay a part of the community. I decided I didn't really want to do that. I have a community. I just want to continue to serve the community that I already have and then continue to add to it, right? So we've redesigned this program to be more powerful than ever. We're bringing in some guest experts that are amazing. So especially if you are a woman who is ready to step into more leadership, with visibility, with ease, in a micro-targeted way, check us out at sheslinkedup.com. Remember, we're going to write your LinkedIn profile for you, right? By professional LinkedIn profile writers. They are amazing. We're going to help you create a magnetic visibility strategy. You're going to get PR and media training without having to pay $10,000 a month to a publicist, right? You're going to learn how to do this simply for yourself. By the way, we've even got a bonus in this program that you can give your virtual assistant, if you have one, to learn how to support you in this, because you're probably already paying somebody to do this, right? So you don't need to be doing all of this yourself. It's LinkedIn. You need to be doing a lot of it yourself, right? People think they're talking to you. They need to be talking to you. There's a lot of support you can get. We've got a bonus with our VA training, especially that you can give to your assistant, so that they can help you with some of this stuff, so that I want you to continue to show up in your zone of genius, right? Not stressing over how to pitch a journalist, right? We're going to teach you how to do that, but if you have somebody that can help you, we're going to help them. Lifetime access to our coaching, support, and sisterhood. This is not just a course. It's a complete reset of your brand, of the way you think. We have a private podcast that is mindset focused, that is just for our She's Linked Up community. If you are it is fairly new. We've got about 12 or 13 episodes in it at the time I'm recording this, maybe 15. If you're fairly new, and it's fairly new. So if you've been a part of our She's Linked Up community and you're not a part of that private podcast, message me on LinkedIn and I'll get you the link so that you can join it. Because it's available again to all of our alumni forever, because the mindset, I can give you all the strategy in the world, right? And I love strategy. I love talking strategy. But if your head is not in the right place, it's not going to work, right? So we need to align your ambitions with your aspirations, right? And with your mindset. This is your brand, your life, your income that we're going to impact here. This is next level leadership. So go to sheslinkedup.com. Check it out. And I am here to help you build the business and the life that you truly deserve. We need each other at this moment in the world. We need each other. I don't know what's happening I don't know what's happening in the world. I know people are getting laid off. I have a cousin. If you're listening to this, I think about you all the time. She worked for the government. She got laid off, right? This is what you need. Whether you're employed or unemployed or an entrepreneur, you need to take control of your destiny with your brand. All of that is poured into this program. I am here for you. I am here for that, because this is how we build wealth. And this is how we stay and do what it is we're good at, right? This is the name of the show, Good Girls Get Rich. I want you to do what you're good at and build wealth while you're doing it. All right. We'll see you back here next week. Check it out. sheslinkedup.com.